for God hath shown it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. Because that when they knew God, they glorified him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools.
These 5 mushrooms work together in a synergy to help activate mitochondrial biogenesis, and it takes about 5 to 12 weeks for a healthy cellular turnover to happen. Because I'm such a nerd, and I learned about this mitochondrial biogenesis. So I started taking those 4 ones that I showed you in the longevity pack that you have there, and 1 teaspoon of the Beauty and Longevity Gel a day. And in January, I lost 5 pounds.
So I started taking the Enforce and the Clarity, and started noticing some difference. And unbelievably, 16 months later, I'd lost 70 pounds.
Well, we love having LTPetClub247.com back with us again with a great update on the weight loss experienced in a healthy manner. You don't want to miss it. Another avenue in these mushrooms leading to our health in amazing ways. The testimony will touch your heart. We're also going to get into the Trump account effect on our children, the American flag battle that played out yesterday, and a few comms provided by Q before we get there. 513,000 followers on Rumble. Thank you for following us there. Free speech, that's what they believe in. They help us in that area. We also had our video yesterday reach number 2 on the leaderboard on Rumble. So very, very exciting. And a couple other things that were big. I wanted to show, before we get to the interview, this announcement from the White House with the children of President Trump.
The American dream belongs to every child, and today we are equipping the next generation with the right to claim their rightful share of it. Through Trump accounts, our president is creating an ownership economy where all citizens become shareholders. 38% of American families do not have any exposure to our great equity markets, but with Trump accounts over time, we can get that number to 0. Already, 6 million American children have signed up, 86% of them with families earning less than $200,000. U.S. Treasury, 1.4 million of those accounts will receive $1,000 from the U.S. Treasury to seed the accounts.
Oh, so amazing. This announcement, folks, is ripple effects across our country and more. And one of the things that's interesting is President Trump actually he hits the bell there from the White House. And when you have that ring the bell, you go to the Q drops. It's kind of interesting. We have this: rest in peace, Mr. President JFK, through your wisdom and strength, since your tragic death, patriots have planned, installed, and by the grace of God, activated the beam of light. We will forever remember your sacrifice. May you look down from above and continue to guide us as we ring the bell of freedom and destroy those who wish to sacrifice our children, our way of life, and our world. We the people, prayer said every single day in the Oval Office. That is pretty cool. And also when he hit that bell, well, that was the bell ringing for all playing out of the NASDAQ and S&P. Yeah, big record number, hit 53,000 for the first time ever in U.S. history. Pure Trump effect in action. We're going to get into more of this with the effect of our children that this Trump account has for children. And I tell you, it's going to really blow you away the amount of money that our children are going to be able to have in the future, thanks to President Trump and his leadership and so much more. And we're also going to talk about The View and their hatred of our country and those that are fighting battles to keep their American flag up, and some more QComs. Before we get to all that, I wanted to continue with this interview. Well, it's so exciting to have LTPetClub247.com, Kristen Ludlow, with us again. We're so excited. Had a great time on the cruise with you and meeting your husband. And what a wonderful week. And boy, things have been so wonderful for our country, I believe, since that time. And we're watching great things happen for many people across
this earth, and I'm sensing it too. Aren't you, Kristen?
Absolutely. And I have to say, thank you for putting together that cruise. I'll never forget sitting there that very first night at the very first session in a room full of people that are full of so much love and hope and optimism. And it brought tears to my eyes. I remember crying that very first night, just like-minded people that love each other, that want to serve. And so thank you for bringing us all together like that. It was a really powerful experience.
Yeah. A lot of folks got a chance to meet you and go through, a lot of the mushrooms and a lot of the things that go on in their lives, and the chance to thank you, person to person. That was wonderful to behold too. And we've got another cruise coming up next year, August. We'll be advertising for that next month, and so that'll be out of Alaska. So we're looking forward to that. But hopefully you'll be able to join us again. But it's great what you guys are doing and how you're changing lives. And this is a little different than what I've seen before. You're really going to be talking about some interesting things on GLP-1, which I believe is like a weight loss treatment that a lot of people are starting to get hooked on across the country, with mainstream media pushing it and ads and more, Big Pharma, I believe. And you guys have a great story today to kind of counter that, what's happening and how the mushrooms can actually help out.
Yeah, absolutely. We normally talk about the importance of the immune system because was so intelligently designed by God. It's our most important system in our body, and it's fully capable of repairing and rebuilding and rebalancing and regulating everything that's happening inside of the body, just when it has the natural support that it deserves and the foods that it needs for us, for our pets, our dogs, cats, horses. So we talk a lot about the Coriolis versicolor mushroom and how that really helps to support the immune system and give it the fuel that it needs to do what it was designed to do. But you're right. I can't go very long in my day without seeing some type of ad for some type of GLP-1 treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Spam emails. I see it all over social media. If I go on there, anytime I turn on the TV, which is very rarely, but there are commercials for it. I see people trying it on social media. We were in a hotel not very long ago, and the hallways of the hotel were lined with ads. So maybe there was some type of convention there or something, but it's just everywhere that I've been looking. And so we've been doing a lot of research into that and what's been going on. And what a lot of people don't know is that GLP-1 is actually a natural hormone that we all have. It's called the glucagon-like peptide 1. And our body releases it after we eat, and it naturally helps to regulate our blood sugar, and it slows our stomach emptying, and it signals to our brain when we're full to help reduce our appetite. So this is something that God's already built into us.
Oh, wow.
What these treatments do is they mimic this hormone. So in a mechanical way, it's helping people feel full faster and eat less and regulate the blood sugar better. And they've been around for a long time. They're not new, even though just now we're seeing them everywhere. They've been around for over 20 years because they were originally created to help people with type 2 diabetes, because it really helps to regulate the insulin levels. But when they were monitoring the patients, the researchers noticed that it also slowed down digestion and signaled fullness in the brain, and it led to significant weight loss. And that's why they're pretty much famous now. I think I saw a study that said 1 in 5 adults have tried the treatment at some point.
Huh.
That's a lot. That's 20% of people.
Yeah.
And it's growing, and it's really effective. I know that it works over 90% of the time, and people are seeing some significant weight loss relatively quickly. JP Morgan put out a study that they project up to 30 million Americans will be on these treatments by 2030. Even the American College of Cardiology, this is a medical organization, and they updated their clinical guidelines. Their number one way to maintain healthy weight has always been through diet and exercise. They updated their clinical guidelines, and now the number one way is through GLP-1 treatments, and number 2 is through diet and exercise. And when asked why they made that change, they said, well, it's because people don't want to diet. They don't want to exercise.
Yeah.
So it's the most obvious thing, and you see those ads for these different types of treatments of like a grandma that has a milkshake in one hand and a donut in the other hand. And it's like, eat whatever you want and get these shots and you'll be, slimmer. So it's really something that's been bothering me. And I know people pay a lot of money for them. I think it can cost anywhere between $350 to $1,000 a month to
Oh,
get
wow.
these types of treatment. But when you're dealing with a lot of extra weight, people do get to that point of almost desperation, and they're willing to try anything, and they'll figure out how to get the money.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are taking it. But what has been so disturbing to me, LT, are the side effects for these different types of treatments. Like, I'm really grateful that they've been helping type 2 diabetics, and they've been working really well for weight loss with a 90% effective rate. But most users, 40 to 70%, experience some form of a side effect.
Mm.
So that's very, very high when you're looking at it. And there are just the basic side effects like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea,
Right.
stomach pain, getting headaches or fatigue. Some people get some reactions at the injection site. And those are some of the more common ones. But there are also some indirect consequences that have been happening. And this happens because the body loses weight at an unnatural pace, faster than the body can keep up with it. Because remember, these treatments are working by overriding the natural signaling that's happening. It's mimicking it. It's literally hijacking the body's signaling.
Mm.
And so when you're losing weight that fast, a lot of times your body can't keep up with it. And most of the weight that they're losing is actually muscle mass. So have you ever heard of like Ozempic face, where,
Yes.
the face becomes really sagging or hollowed out? And that's because they lose their facial fat too quickly. A lot of people are having hair thinning, their hair is falling out, muscle loss. They're having a tough time walking because they lose too much of the muscle in their feet. So those are some of they're not direct side effects, but they're kind of indirect consequences of losing weight too fast. And then there are some pretty serious risks as well. And these are much more rare, but we know people that have had to deal with this. There have been reports of pancreatitis, gallbladder problems, it's called gastroparesis. And I have it written down because I want to make sure that I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
This is stomach paralysis. So your stomach slows down so much that you just can't stop vomiting. And I know several people that have happened to, where they're vomiting for 24, 48 hours and they can't stop.
Right.
And
Right.
they go through the stomach paralysis. We're seeing kidney issues. There are reports of thyroid cancer. But the one that's most disturbing for me, and for me, this is a spiritual thing more than anything. And when I saw this study, I think I cried for a while because it broke my heart. JAMA did a study using the WHO, the World Health Organization's global drug database, and they found a 45% increase in reports of suicidal ideation.
Mm. Mm. And how long do people have to take these, the GLP? Like, do they have to stay on it for a long time, or is it forever? Or
It's a lifelong commitment because it's not going to the root cause of what's creating the weight gain in the first place.
Yeah.
It's just overriding the signaling. So they have to take them for the rest of their lives. There's no relief. And if you stop taking it, you'll regain 2/3 of your weight within just a year of stopping. So for however long you've taken it for, all that gets reversed in less than a year.
Yeah.
A lot of the food noise. Are you familiar with what food noise is?
No.
It's a new phenomena where people are constantly thinking about food. Even while they're eating their meal, they're thinking about what they're going to eat next, where they're going to eat it, how it's going to taste. It's just this constant noise in the back of their mind and an obsession with eating food. And I think it's more prevalent here in the United States because there's so much abundance. We have access to so much food that
Right.
become obsessed with it. So that gets returned within just weeks of the last dose. So all the cravings, everything comes back. And then any health gains that they might have had, like if they saw any improvements in their blood pressure or their cholesterol or their blood sugar levels, once that drug is out of their system, which is only like 5 to 7 weeks later, they see a reversal of all of those health gains. So a lot of times they're told this is something that they just have to continue for the rest of their lives. And
Yeah.
There's
When you mentioned the food, the thing that crosses my mind is we talked about this before we got into a recording, but the World Cup soccer event is playing now, and I've played a few of the clips that I noticed on social media where people come from other countries and they're amazed about the United States of America. Obviously, small things like you've got ice in your drinks and you've got ice for this or whatever, just small things. But the one I noticed the most is the food,
Mhm.
and they show the food portions, like how much is placed on that plate for you to eat. And they're like, wow, I can't believe this, that we don't get these type of portions in our country wherever they come from. So we do seem to have giant portions handed to us everywhere we go.
Mhm.
Free refills on Coke is not good because you get constant sugar.
Mhm.
Constant bread. Oh, you get much as bread as you want. Well, so we're constantly putting things in front of us, yet not realizing the more that we stuff inside, the more, problems we're going to have probably in the future. So just very interesting how that when you talk about food noise, that's where I see it.
Mhm. And then you take into consideration all the questions people are having about the food in the United States. You look at the ingredients for a lot of these foods, and they're nothing close to the ingredients for the same exact product by the same exact brand in other countries.
Correct, correct.
And
And
so
I've been in other countries too, and because I was in the Marine Corps,
Mhm.
Germany, and especially in Japan. And yeah, the food portions are small, and I noticed there's a difference in the taste and ingredients in those different ones. Like for me, it's M&Ms. I love M&Ms, so I noticed a huge difference in Japan between their M&Ms and American M&Ms. I used to buy both of them, eat both of them, and show my kids the difference in the taste. It's just interesting.
It tastes different?
It
Oh,
does.
I must try these
They have
Japanese
different ingredients. Different ingredients, yeah, because they banned a lot of those bad ingredients that are put in the American side. So
So not only are we overeating with having too many meals in one day, with snacking in between, having very large meals for
yep,
each meal that we have, and the quality of the meals that we're eating is much lower than it is in a lot of other better regulated countries.
yeah.
So all of that's working against us.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so you guys, I mean, all of this is happening across the board, across, many folks. I mean, I remember when there was this big push for body positivity.
Right.
And how do we get from body positivity to now all of a sudden they switched it all and said, okay, now you need to take this GLP treatment to help you. And it's just interesting how they play mind games with so many people on so many levels. And when you talk about depression side, I kind of understand that because when I was going to go to surgery once, they gave me a specific drug before I went in before they put you to sleep.
Mhm.
And I said, "Hey, I got to stop." And I told the guy, I said, "Stop this. I can't go in there." He goes, "What? How do you feel?" And I said, "I feel like I don't want to live anymore." "What kind of
Mm.
drug did you just give me?" And I just remember that they brought the what is it, anesthesiologist? I can't even say it well. And he showed up and he gave me something. I think it was Benadryl. He shot it into the IV, and then I felt better. And I was like, I need to leave. And I left. I didn't do surgery that day. So I can understand that feeling of some type of drug doing something to your brain where you feel like I just don't want to be here anymore. I get that personally.
Yes, and the other side of that, the caveat to that is for those that are already on anxiety medications or depression medications, they reported 150 to 300% increase.
Oh,
So 45% for someone that doesn't normally think about it.
yeah.
150, it literally breaks my heart because this very thing that's supposed to help you live life better, that's the goal, right?
Right.
Lose all this weight and be more active and get your life back and feel better about yourself.
Right.
And that might be the very same thing that is taking away your will to live. It's
Mm.
just so dark to me. It just feels very dark. And right from the first time that I started hearing about these things, and I didn't know what it was, but I just felt a darkness to it. And then when I saw that study, I think it all made sense. I think there's a
Yeah.
spirit of suicide that's out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. So how do you guys come into all of this? The mushrooms. It seems like you've got something, and we've got somebody we're bringing on here in a moment to kind of tell us and give us a testimony of what's happened with them with LT Pet Club 247, how that helped with their weight.
Mhm. Well, there are three things that these treatments are doing for people. The first thing that it's doing is it's muting the hunger in their brain.
Right.
So it's silencing that food noise, but it's also lowering the food reward.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know that every time you eat, you get a little bit of a dopamine surge. And that's your brain's way of like rewarding you for getting access to a high calorie food. So when you lower that food reward, it just becomes less exciting to eat. I always joke around, that's like taking the color out of my world. Like why? I
Yeah.
want to feel good about eating. Why would I want to lower that? So that's one of the things it does. It boosts the fullness signals in your body. And then I talked about it earlier that it slows down your stomach as well. So it makes you feel like you're full for longer, even if you've eaten a small meal. And it does this through a mechanical satiety. So it sends these continuous signals through the vagus nerve to your brain, reinforcing the feeling that you don't need more food, even if you do. So it's completely overriding all of the signaling that your body naturally does. And then the third thing that it does, which is why it was created, is it stabilizes your blood sugar. It really helps with the insulin management. So you're using your energy more efficiently, and it helps with the glucagon suppression. So it prevents the liver from releasing too much extra sugar into your bloodstream. So
Right.
your energy levels stay stable and reduce the cravings. So when you learn how these treatments are working and what they're doing in the body, you can see why mushrooms are a completely different approach. In my opinion, it's the way that God planned it, right?
Right.
And while these treatments, they're very effective, but they're working by overriding the body's natural signaling, but they're not necessarily addressing the root causes of the metabolic imbalance that's happening in the body, whether it's stress or inflammation or gut dysfunction, whatever it may be. It's just overriding the signaling. It's never resolving the actual issue that's creating the weight gain in the first place. So that's why holistic mushrooms have a completely different approach, because they're not mimicking your GLP-1. They're not forcing appetite suppression. Instead, they're helping to support the systems that naturally regulate hunger and blood sugar and metabolism. So while the treatments mimic a signal, the holistic mushrooms restore the system that creates the signal. It's almost as if there was a plan.
That's right.
He designed us. It's the intelligence is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
instead of forcing the body to eat less, we're helping the body regulate hunger and energy and metabolism naturally. And that's why they're working so differently, because they're supporting balance instead of overriding it. And that's
Yeah.
what helps the body move toward that more sustainable long-term metabolic health. And so as we've been learning all of this, we decided to put together a pack, because there are a lot of people that are concerned with maintaining a healthy weight, and it's called the longevity pack, and it has several of the different products that we have for people all together in one pack. You actually save money by purchasing it in this pack instead of buying them all separately. But each of these different components does something different in the body. It supports the body in a different way. So you see the Enforce Plus there, the
Yep.
yellow bottle. That one has the Coriolis versicolor mushroom in it, which supports the immune system, but it also supports the gut microbiome. And that plays a major role in regulating your appetite hormones, including your own GLP-1 signaling. So that helps to maintain proper signaling. And it also has a little bit of the reishi mushroom in it, which supports stress and cortisol balance. If you do, people that study this a lot know that a lot of the visceral fat, especially as we get older, a lot of that visceral fat that we're holding on to in our gut area is
Right.
caused by cortisol levels that are too high, because we're constantly stressed all the time. I mean, just turn on the news and instantly your cortisol levels shoot up, right?
Right.
And when you're high, all your appetite signals get dysregulated, and that's what leads to the cravings and the overeating. America, we have a really unique problem. About 70% of the eating that we do is not to fuel our body. It's actually emotional eating, because we're bored, because we're tired, because we're angry, because we're depressed, because we're anxious. We eat for a lot of different reasons, not just because we're hungry and our bodies need fuel. And a lot of that has to do with imbalanced adrenals and too much cortisol in the body. So the reishi helps to balance and provide that adrenal support for you. And then it also has the Restore, which is that red bottle that you see there. This
Okay.
one has the maitake mushroom in it, and that's the one that supports insulin sensitivity and healthy glucose metabolism. So it's the one that helps your body to stabilize your blood sugar levels, which is one of the key drivers of all of your hunger and cravings. You know, we're constantly having so much sugar in our diets. Our bodies are just like this all the time. We're on this roller coaster. So when you have that type of support from a functional food like the maitake mushroom, it keeps it balanced. So you don't feel those peaks and you don't feel those crashes at the same time. It's just very stable. And it also has the Enforce Shield. That's the orange bottle that you see there. This
Okay.
is the shiitake mushroom. So this supports your lipid metabolism and it helps the body process fats more efficiently. So instead of storing them, all those fats and holding on to them, your body actually uses them as fuel, which is what it's supposed to do. And then it also has the Enforce Clarity, which is the lion's mane mushroom. And I love this mushroom because it helps to support the brain and the nervous system and helps regulate communication between the gut and brain. It's called the gut-brain axis. And that's the pathway that controls your hunger and your satiety, what tells you when you're full and when you're hungry. So this can be really helpful in supporting the natural and restoring the natural communication that's already happening. And then the new one that we've just recently introduced that I am the biggest fan of is this Beauty and Longevity Gel.
Yeah.
This has been such a gift. We're so grateful for it. It has the shiitake, the maitake, and the reishi mushroom in it, but it also has proprietary structured water and organic interleaf aloe vera. And this not only hydrates your body more deeply, but it also helps improve how your body processes and absorbs all of the mushroom's active compounds. So it almost acts as a carrier and allows your body to use all of the adaptogenic mushrooms more efficiently. And it also gives metabolic and thyroid support. It has organic Irish sea moss, amla. Of course, the adaptogenic mushrooms help with that. It helps with nutrient absorption and detoxification. It has MSM and vitamin C. And then as you're losing weight at the same time, it has biotin and hyaluronic acid and polyglutamic acid, which helps to maintain your skin and connective tissue integrity, which is really, really important. Because that's one of the main problems with losing weight is now you have all this skin and you don't know, what to do with it. It doesn't know where to go because it's stretched so far.
Yeah.
Now, what's so interesting is we put together this longevity pack for a completely different reason. It was because there's a process that our bodies undergo called mitochondrial biogenesis. And a lot of the issues that people are dealing with come from a breakdown in the mitochondria, which are if you remember 9th grade biology, they're the little powerhouses of the cell. And those weak and they get compromised. And as you age, it starts replicating these tired, weak, compromised mitochondria. The cells are not functioning like they're supposed to, and the micro creates the macro. So then that starts to affect all the systems, and then that leads to diseases and inflammation and all of the different issues that we're dealing with. And so these 5 mushrooms work together in a synergy to help activate mitochondrial biogenesis. And it takes about 5 to 12 weeks for a healthy cellular turnover to happen. So we put together this longevity pack back in December, and in January, I started taking it back in December, and forever, all I was taking was the Enforce with the Coriolis Versicolor and the Shield, and all my tests, my scans, like everything comes back perfectly for years. I haven't taken any medications, nothing for 8 years now. And because I'm such a nerd, and I learned about this mitochondrial biogenesis, and I was like, ooh, I want my mitochondria to biogenerate, or I don't even know if I even said that.
Yeah.
So I started taking those 4 ones that I showed you in the longevity pack that you have there, and 1 teaspoon of the Beauty and Longevity Gel a day. And in January, I lost 5 pounds. Now, you saw me. I'm 5'9". I'm like 135 pounds at this time. I didn't know that I had 5 pounds to lose, but my body just naturally dropped the weight, and that was not my intention. But it's just once the body started rebalancing, it let go of, maybe it was hormonal weight going into perimenopause, whatever it was, the body let go of it. wow, this is pretty incredible, but didn't think too much about it. And then Jennifer, who we're going to introduce to you, had an incredible experience as well. And when this happened for Jennifer, this is when we thought, oh my goodness, I think this is something, I think we're onto something that can be really beneficial for a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Bring her on.
So here's Jennifer. We'll bring her on now. And welcome, Jennifer. It's great to have you aboard.
Thank you so much. Good to be with you.
Yeah. And so you've got an amazing story. So, Jennifer, we brought your photos up. Maybe you could tell us about what's going on there in the photos and what happened, how the mushrooms actually helped you out.
Sure. So I've spent much of my adult life overweight. Kristen reached out to me and said that they had some products that she thought it would be helpful to me to try. So I started taking the Enforce and the Clarity and started noticing some difference. And unbelievably, 16 months later, I'd lost 70 pounds. And it was completely unexpected. I was super grateful, and I felt sugar cravings stop. I was able to move and walk, and I was in my early 60s and started hiking with the grandkids, and things just kind of fell into place. And so relatively quickly, I lost that 70 pounds, and I was so grateful for that. And, being in my 60s, I thought that was where I would stop. And then several months ago, Kristen reached out again and said they had this new longevity pack, and that I might be interested in trying it. So I, of course, tried it. And I took the gel, and I was doing 2 teaspoons of the gel per day. And in 4 days, I lost 4 pounds. And like Kristen had said earlier, I didn't think I needed to lose another 4 pounds, but I did. And then within several weeks, I'd lost 14 pounds. And the only difference for me was that longevity pack. I was still walking. I was still, not having any sugar because all of those cravings went away when I was on the Enforce and the Clarity. And something about this food noise issue shifted in me. And on some level, my body was telling me, you don't have to think about food. You don't have to obsess over food. You don't have to overeat food. And things just dramatically changed for me, and 14 pounds dropped off of me. So now I'm in a healthy weight range. I feel great. It makes me sad to see those pictures left and right, but the one in the middle is who I am, and I'm grateful for it every day.
So you can really see the difference that it makes when a lot of that food noise is gone and it's gone naturally. And I think the best part of her experience is that she's able to sustain it without effort. We think you got to grind, you got to deprive yourself, but when your body starts rebalancing itself, all of these adjustments happen very naturally at the proper pace, at the pace that God intended for your body to go through it. And so that's why it's just a very natural transition. And I love this infographic that you pulled up, LT, because that actually talks about the mitochondrial biogenesis and how these mushrooms work together to activate that inside of the body. And once Jennifer told me about that experience, I have another friend, Diana. She's been on a strict diet for years. She's part of an actual weight loss program where they're weighed weekly every Monday. And for 10 months, she was losing 1 ounce a month on a 1 ounce a week on a very strict diet. And her husband would always joke around, oh, you'll hit your target weight in 20 years, at 1 ounce, 1 ounce a week. And it was really discouraging for her because she was trying everything that she could, but she kind of just figured maybe this is the weight I'm supposed to be at. We told her about the longevity pack. She started taking all 4 of those bottles combined and the beauty and longevity gel. And her first week, she lost 1 pound that week. She went from 1 ounce to 1 pound. That's 16 times faster. In her first month, she lost 5.5 pounds, and she's still continuing to lose weight. Our friend Kurt, who had lost significant amount of weight as well, just on the Enforce and the Clarity, started taking the longevity pack. He lost 12 pounds in 8 days. And in his first month on it, he ended up losing a total of 22 pounds. We have a younger girl who's going through some hormonal changes, and she just could not stop gaining weight. And every week, just more and more and more. And she was trying dieting, she was trying exercising, and all of those things are really helping you, but it wasn't helping her fast enough because the weight was still coming on. So
Right.
she started taking the longevity pack, and immediately she stopped gaining weight. For the first 2 weeks, she didn't gain any more weight at all, which was a miracle because every week it would be more and more and more.
Yeah.
And then over the next 2 weeks, she lost 9 pounds, and she's only been doing this now for about a month. So I'm excited to see where this goes for her. But you
Oh,
got to think of, like, especially hormonal weight gain, it's almost like a train, right? When a train is in motion, you don't just stop it and put it in reverse. You have to
right.
slow it down, bring it to a stop, and then it can start reversing. So that's kind of what happened for Riley. Is once her body started getting that support and was able to process things more efficiently, it brought the weight gain to a stop. And then now it's being able to go back to a healthy weight for her. So this by no means is a weight loss program. These are not weight loss drugs. These are just functional foods. These are just the mushrooms God has given us in abundance. We're just fortunate to have a pharmaceutical grade extract. It's very pure and very potent. And so the body knows how to metabolize it, and it metabolizes it quickly and starts using all of those bioactive components that help our bodies function more optimally. So we're really encouraged by what we're finding. Every single day, I'm getting more messages from people about how they're feeling better, how weight is just coming off without them trying. And so we're encouraged by that and what that can offer for people, especially people that are maybe considering other types of treatments. I would say maybe try this approach first and see what that does for you. Because aside from the weight loss, these mushrooms working together in a synergy are fueling your body in such incredible ways, and they're reactivating so many processes that your body needs, helping your body to function more optimally. There's so many good things happening inside of your body once it gets the natural support that it deserves. So I know this is a little bit of a stray from what we normally talk about, but we're just so excited about this and encouraged by it and hopeful that we can help a lot of people that have been dealing with carrying around all of that unnecessary weight.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, even we were talking about it, how I've been trying to lose weight. I was in the bodybuilding world for a while, and it's very, very difficult to get down to 3% body fat when you're in the bodybuilding world. Just eating chicken every day and a little bit of rice and a little bit of protein shake. I mean, I just can't imagine trying to figure it out in a world that we live in now with all the abundance of food. And I used to say also, when I go in the commissary, in the military commissary, I could only eat maybe 7 to 10% of the food that was offered there, because 90% of it had these ingredients that weren't good for bodybuilders to get down to a good weight to get on stage, right? Or it's really not a good weight. 3% is not good. You can only do that for about a week. But yeah, I mean, I catch myself all the time around the waistline. It's big for me. I just keep growing, and I'm like, what? I've been going, I go to the gym, I walk, I'm trying to eat well, but just things aren't working right for me as I get up in my upper 50s. And now I think even more so, taking all of these is going to definitely play a big role for me. I mean, I just noticed I haven't been feeling well over the weekend, and I was actually taking all of these, and I didn't eat very much, which now I'm thinking, I probably wasn't eating very much because I was taking all these pills to try to beat my illness. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, hey, my stomach kind of went down a little bit. I noticed that yesterday. And so now it's all coming together as you're talking. Just for me personally, on a personal level, I felt it. So yeah, I'm really glad that we continue to see how our Heavenly Father puts this together. You guys have been so good for so many people, and even their pets also. I mean, we're watching changes. Emails come in, they're flooding in from folks that are taking that. And then, of course, we get a chance to meet with you on the cruise, and many people were just giving you hugs and just thanking you for the changes they saw in their life. And so thank you so much. We've got the QR code, folks, on the screen if you want to pause and use your phone to hit that QR code to ltpetclub247.com. That's in the description box below. You've got that longevity pack right there on that website. You can grab that and, write us, send a message to us, to Kristen and their team, and let them know what's happening in your life and your pets and more. They'd love to hear from you, and we love to hear the testimonies and put those out for many to see.
It's always great having Kristen with us, and just more testimonies that just warm our heart. Watching folks realize and learn there are so many things that are put on this earth by our Heavenly Father to help us in our health journey, and we just appreciate everything that they're doing over there. Now, I promised I'd get back to the children, and I tell you what, Joe Lang said, are you seeing the big picture? American citizens are now becoming shareholders in American success at birth. A sovereign wealth fund is in the process of replacing federal taxes. The coming generations will be born with a pathway to success instead of born into debt slavery and federal taxes. Think much bigger, my friends. Things that we never thought were even possible are now happening much faster than anybody could dream of. Trump was not exaggerating. A new golden age is happening, and the best is yet to come. And I want to show you this.
Yeah, Dan, when the free money machine is open and they're giving out $1,000, I think a lot of people want to know, how do I get that? So if you have a child that was born in 2025 or beyond, then you can get this Trump account as long as you're a U.S. citizen and you have a valid Social Security number for your kid. And actually, if you apply for a Social Security number, you can now apply for a Trump account at the same time with the same form.
This is CNN, by the way, for those listening.
So what are the rules? How do you get this? Well, you can contribute $5,000 a year tax-free, tax-deductible investments in a low-cost index fund. That's like the S&P 500. Remember, the S&P 500 made 300% over the past 10 years. That could be a really good investment. But, even if you don't invest in it, it's a pretty good deal. And you can use it for things like college, obviously, because when you're 18, that's one of the places that you're going. But you may not. You might want to use it for your first home. You can even just keep it in your account and use it for retirement. If you use it for something that's not one of these, though, then you do get a 10% penalty, and you have to pay those taxes that I mentioned before. Now, if you do not contribute to this and you just keep $1,000, still with a 10% return, which is pretty conservative over the past 10 years, look at this. You can still walk away with $5,500 for college or something else like that. Now, that's not going to pay for college. If you do max out your contributions, you're talking about some really serious money, about $250,000 by the time your child is 18, assuming that 10% returns. So
pretty interesting, right? All that playing out for our children and their future. And I love it. Absolutely love it. Now, those that hate President Trump, they hate the future of our country going to the children, but only care about themselves and keeping their crime from being exposed to the world. Well, one of those would be Gavin Newsom, right? He actually came out with a video, and I'm not going to play the clip. I can't stand his voice. But he said on X to anyone considering helping President Trump interfere with our election or our count, you will be prosecuted. That's why I'm moving forward with new legislation that would make it a felony to seize ballots before the vote has been certified by state and county officials. Oh, James Wood chimed in. He put this out there and he said he's scared. Oh, yes, he is. Wait till the federal government takes over, folks, the elections and more. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. And we need this Save America Act. We need it really bad, and this came out yesterday.
So the short answer is get back to D.C. We're going to stay late. We're going to work weekends, no more vacations. And oh, by the way, John Thune in the United States Senate, that includes you. You have a mandate from the American people. Over 80% of Americans want the Save America Act. You have no excuse not to do it. You shouldn't get another break. You shouldn't get to go home early. No more vacations. We have a job to do. It's our 250th anniversary. The best present we can give to the American people is doing our jobs, which means ending this birth tourism, ending this whole idea of anchor babies. And quite frankly, the Senate needs to be along for this instead of taking vacation after vacation. Yeah. I know they're very busy with naming bridges and all their Jello parties, but it's time to get to work.
Yep, time to get to work. Glad he's calling them out on all of this. And so those that hate our country, just in case you guys didn't know, this happened on The View with old Sunny Hostin.
And I said this on this show many, many years ago, because this is my 10th year on the show. And I said there are times when I walk into a community and I see American flags all over the community, and I suddenly feel unsafe because there is a section of this country that has co-opted the American flag, and they equate being an American or an American flag with white supremacy, and that should never be the symbol of white supremacy, but they have weaponized.
Because the flag belongs to all of us.
It does belong to all of us. But those men were wearing a flag on their and I
So,
said
of
this
course,
on this.
they're using everything they can to try to make the American flag look like a symbol of evil. And how do they do it? Well, they have these guys that are funded. They go out there, they proclaim to be patriots, they cover themselves up. Let me see if I can find it. So here we are. If you guys are looking at your screen,
that lady looks like mom.
You see these guys, we've seen them before. They're holding American flags, they're covering their face, and they call them, I guess, the Patriot Front. We already know they are leftists. They are paid for by Soros to make it look like they're patriots. Less deplorable. FBI Director Cash, he posted this to them. If Patriot Front were genuine patriots, they would, one, not wear masks and glasses like terrorists, like Antifa, to hide their identities, would have an X account. They don't. Bet they have a Blue Sky account. Remember, belonging to the liberals. Would not wear the FBI tan khaki pants, would not be fake, smells like SPLCA, and red flags all over the place. They need to be investigated. And so they use this, they bring them out, then they say, okay, View, it's your turn since we're paying you all this money. Make it look like the American flag is a terrible thing because we had our fake folks go out there wearing masks, and they try to create an entire narrative to make people scared of America. But many are not having it. And in one homeowner association in California, they demand that residents remove their American flag. But I tell you what, the homeowners are fighting back.
I'm not going to let them bully me with fines to take down the symbol of America.
Terry Collins is not taking down Old Glory. The San Marcos resident, along with Amy and Chris Cook, were given $100 fines and summoned to a HOA hearing Tuesday for flying the American flag outside their homes.
Our flag has been displayed here on our exclusive use common area for at least 20 years.
The issue comes down to where the flag is installed. The HOA contends this one is on common area property, but the homeowners, now facing a $100 fine, disagree.
After we published our story, the feud made national news. Republican nominee for governor Steve Hilton is even weighing in. And now the Ambiance Owners Association is changing its tune. In a letter sent Wednesday, the board said in part, in light of recent media attention and concerns for the privacy and safety of board members, the board has decided to put the flag policy on hold, and a survey will be presented to the membership shortly to decide if flags can be hung from common property.
Against the U.S. flag. Who's running this whole thing? And they, what do they put in their little announcement? Oh, for the privacy and safety of board members. Safety? What are you scared of? And so Wall Street Apes had something to say about this.
Just so everyone is crystal clear, a homeowners association cannot ban you from flying an American flag. The homeowners association who's trying to ban this one in California is the Ambiance Owners Association. It's in San Marcos, California. For those who don't know the area, that's in San Diego County, California. They're imposing fines on anyone who flies them. The HOA is saying that they are on common area property and that violates their rules. But again, this is illegal. They cannot restrict you flying an American flag. And let me show you the proof of that. So if this happens to you, just know that this is illegal. They cannot stop you. Federal and California law both protect the right to on your own property in your front yard. Here's the federal law. HOAs cannot prohibit or restrict the display of a U.S. flag on residential property where the owner has a separate ownership interest or exclusive use, which means your front lawn, you can absolutely fly it.
That's right. I hope we will. So, U.S. Department of Education put this out. The party isn't over. Under the President of the United States, America's 250th celebration is more than just a day. Have a great summer. Patriots. And the White House said, imagine only being patriotic one day a year. couldn't be us. And they have a picture there. God bless America with the fireworks and our American flag. And it was posted at 3:40 p.m. Ultra Magadine was all over this. The White House post. Imagine being patriotic one day a year. Well, 340 posting, that's 34 with the 0 taken off, and you have Q34. Clearance, Patriot. My fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you will undoubtedly realize that we are taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. And at the end of this, organizations and or people that wish to do us harm during this time will be met with swift fury. Certain laws have been pre-lifted to provide our great military the necessary authority to handle and conduct these operations at home and abroad. Boy, just love it. So let's go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come to you again. We thank you for continued guidance and direction in our lives. Thank you for the things that you have provided on this earth for our health, for what Pet Club has been doing for so many across this earth and bringing health in just a wonderful way. We know you put this all together for us. We ask that you continue to guide and direct their company, protect them from the enemy. Also, we ask for protection of those that are on the front lines fighting for our freedom. Many who are sacrificing their lives, their time, and more away from family so that we can have freedom that's been playing out for so many years. You know this. You hear the cries and prayers of the many that are across our land. We ask that you would continue to expose the enemy and wake people up. We bring this to you in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen. Thank you, folks, for tuning in. We hope you have a great remainder of your day. We look forward to more updates throughout the rest of this week. For now, this is LT Semper Fi with Them We Know, signing out.